Hi everyone, my name is Dr. Steve Simpson and I'm a mind coach who works with elite performers. Thanks for finding my video and my blogs. The subject we're talking about today is we're going to carry on where we left off with the last video, which was about determinism. And I stumbled across determinism because I'm a great fan of Einstein's, and I try and read as much as I can about the kind of things that he believed in, and was surprised, to say the least, when I discovered that he was a firm believer in determinism as a deeply religious man. So he must have had his reasons, and it seems strange to me that a person like that could believe that our lives are preordained from birth, or maybe from even before birth. And there is really little concept of human free will, which of course is the one thing that we value above all else. And the second reason that I was compelled to find out more about this was because I'm very shortly to start on a speaking tour with fellow author Hugh Shields. The title of our talk is Get Lucky with Einstein, because you know my views on luck, that we do not live in a random universe. And so this question is bound to be raised. So I left it after part one of this two-part series, with a huge headache, very depressed, and also resolved that if possible I was going to try and prove to myself that we do have free will and we do not need to have a fatalist attitude towards life. Okay, so what have I found out since the last time? Well, I didn't really know where to look, but I thought, let's start with people who've won Nobel Prizes in the last few years, because the advances in genetics in particular have been huge in this time. And I got lucky almost immediately, because in 2009 a group of researchers were awarded the prize for identifying something called telomeres, and for understanding what their function did. So this is the best explanation I can give. Using a huge stretch of your imagination, this is your chromosome, or anybody's chromosome for that matter, and on the end of the chromosome, or this shoelace, you will see a little plastic cap. Now that's there for a reason. It's there to stop your shoelace from becoming unraveled and frayed and damaged at the end, and that's exactly what it does in our chromosomes. And once you've identified stuff like this and understand what it's for, then other researchers jump on this bandwagon, because they're all hoping to get a Nobel Prize as well, and they try and find out more about it. And they found out a lot. They found out that the length of this telomere in people, it varies. If you're very healthy, it's quite long, like this. And if you're ill, it can be very much shorter. And they studied people who were very ill with diseases like cancer. They also studied people who had what you might call unhealthy lifestyles, so diets rich in sugars, in artificial sugars, people who didn't take exercise, people who smoked, all the usual things. And sadly, you can imagine what the conclusion was. And the conclusion is that these people have shorter telomeres. But there is good news in this story, because we're all getting beaten up for not having healthy enough lifestyles. And those of you who follow Tony Wrighton's Zestology interview, you'll know that I was criticized in the last one for a couple of things that I don't do, that I should do, that would be healthy for me. Anyway, the good news is that then the researchers started to see, well, perhaps we can intervene with these people, these naughty people who've got short telomeres, and get their telomeres to grow. So they put them on what is currently conceived a healthy diet. They got them to take regular, moderate exercise, and most interesting from my point of view, they taught them stress control techniques. They taught them things like meditation and mindfulness. And after a few weeks, they looked at these people again, or at their telomeres in particular, and they found, guess what? Their telomeres had grown. So this is very exciting, because it means that we do have some control over our life. It suggests that we don't live in a deterministic philosophical view of life, and that our destiny is, at least to some extent, in our own hands. So I hope that makes you feel better about things. It helps you to load the dice in your favor in this greatest game of chance, which we call life. And the businessmen are always keen to jump on a bandwagon too, and no surprises, you can now for a few $100s find out how long your telomeres are. Now, I have no idea whether that's something you'd want to do or not. That's a question. But if you do, there's another question. Once you get the result, what are you going to do about it? Well, I've decided I'm not going to have my telomeres measured, but I am going to listen to Tony of Zestology fame and perhaps try and make a couple more improvements in my lifestyle. So that's the end of Determinism, this two-part series. Don't know what we'll talk about next. We'll find something interesting, I hope, and of course I welcome your comments on further shows. And also, I'd like to thank you for supporting and subscribing to me on the YouTube channel, because the membership is growing every single day, and we're up to quite big numbers now with over 180,000 downloads on my videos. So that will keep me making these short little things until you tell me to stop. So until we meet next time, remain positive. You are in control of your life. And one change at a time. Perhaps you could find one little thing that you might change to have a slightly healthier lifestyle. So I wish you good luck with all of that. Goodbye.